Good morning, my dear students. Being a new students or freshers, I'd like to interact with you to discuss about the flashcards. So you got your smartphone, and in that probably that is you got some inbuilt memory card. When the memory is not sufficient, what we do normally, we insert additional flashcard, additional flash memory card, that is additional memory card. So similarly, you should have some additional flashcard also to our brain. So brain is a fantastic organ where we store, retrieve the messages, and it is able to analyze, and we are able to discriminate things, and that makes the difference between animals and ourselves. The discrimination means whether it is good or bad, whether I am already familiar with this or not. So all these analytical capacities are available with brain, and we call it sixth sense. The sixth sense is nothing but the discrimination, how to distinguish good one from the bad one. Do you understand? And with all that, that is a flashcard. As I already told you, it is a very good learning tool. We have different types of flashcards, and before that you should know these flashcards are very, very useful for the learners. You know very well about this. And especially even from 6 months old baby. When you show a color to a baby, she is able to recognize the colors also. So, in fact, there are many types of flashcards. I have listed here various types of flashcards. And in fact, these discrete ideas can be connected with the help of flashcard. So here, as I already mentioned, anyone can learn anything from anybody. But the problem here is to retain. The memory retention is the biggest issue for us. When I talk something, when I teach you something, you are able to learn something. But can you reproduce whatever I have discussed? That is the biggest issue. So there is an easy way to reproduce 100%. When you reproduce 100% and when you show it in your answer sheet, you get 100%. It's a simple thing. Are you able to follow? When I talk about photosynthesis, from the very word you should be able to learn certain things. And that is why you should give more weightage to the terminology. When you look at a term like photosynthesis, photo means light. Synthesis means preparation, is it not? Synthesis means you are preparing. And do we have the facility of photosynthesis like plants? No. So there are some preconditions, there are some requirements for photosynthesis. Do you agree with me? So only plants and certain algae, they can have this photosynthesis facility, and they can prepare their own food. They don't depend on their parents. Is it not? For instance, when you go for breakfast, you depend on your parent. But these plants, they are self-reliant. We should learn a lot of lessons from the nature. You look at the plant, how they are self-reliant. Does it undergo any coaching? Does it undergo any schooling? But with the basic instinct, they are capable of doing things by themselves. Are you able to agree with me? So similarly, let me discuss about this photosynthesis. So these plants are preparing food in the form of what? Starch. So the starch is prepared here, and that is one of the essential nutrients of any plant or even animals. So this starch is synthesized from where? The reactants. So it's a pakka chemical reaction. So the reactants are carbon dioxide, water, and for which it has to cook, it needs energy. Where from it can get the energy? Light is the energy. And it should have the facility to absorb the energy also. See, everyone is able to receive sunlight, but can you develop any starch from that? Can you derive energy directly? But the plants have the capacity. So after all, it requires only two molecules. One is water, another is carbon dioxide. Besides, it needs a certain nutrients also. And those nutrients are available on earth. So through the root system, it can take. Do you agree with me? Let me talk about only photosynthesis. So carbon dioxide and water. With the help of what? This sunlight. So with what organ or tissue these plants are capable of absorbing sunlight? Chlorophyll. That is very, very important. It's a sensor, it's something like a cooking stove, So with the help of this chlorophyll, they are able to cook very nicely and produce starch. Along with that, it produces what? Oxygen also. And that is why we should support greeneries and forests. We call afforestation, support of developing forest. So, I hope now these ideas, these points should be represented as a flashcard. How you can do? You can bring all these as a graphics also. You can show a leaf, you can show a sunlight or sun, is it not? And you can show carbon dioxide, you can write simply carbon dioxide, CO2 in the symbolic form, and water in a symbolic form as a molecule H2O. And in higher classes, you are expected to write the chemical reaction behind that, so you can write down the chemical reaction also. And you should be able to, understand or reproduce the molecular formula of starch also. So when you talk about photosynthesis, you learn at different levels. Probably that is even in your elementary school, you would have learned about photosynthesis. But when the photosynthesis, the same topic is revised in your higher classes, it will be totally different. It won't be totally different, but it will be advanced. But if we have, for example, for any content, if we have 3 levels, it will be very nice, is it not? So initially, that is, you should know, you do not know anything. That is the preliminary level, elementary level of knowledge. So when we design photosynthesis flashcard, what we can do? Even as baby can understand this photosynthesis, so with the graphic inputs we can draw. You can show the little girl or boy, hey, what is this? This is leaf. Hey, what is this? This is sunlight. Hey, what is this? This is carbon dioxide. And what is this? This is water. Likewise. And what is this? This is starch, the end result. So likewise, fully graphically you can show. And that is the elementary level, for it will be useful for the elementary level of people. But when you come for an advanced level, or even for the normal level, that won't be sufficient. Do you understand? For example, when you look at the flashcard of Kavya, should have indicated what you come here. So what you have that is saw in the flashcard. You can take this flashcard and how she has represented. Fully graphic.
Yeah, fully graphic. She has made a quiz flashcard. Right?
So it is a quiz flashcard. Very good.
And one side there are pictures, and then the other side she had explained what and all is there at the first side.
So this is useful for our self-study as well as self-evaluation also. So this is a kind of flashcard. Then.
And due to the colors, it makes it much more interesting.
So it will be interesting also. Okay.
Graphic.
Good. Okay. Right. So do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Right. Good. Now, see, there are different types of flashcard. As I already mentioned, graphic flashcard, infographic flashcard. Infographic means what? With the help of diagram, we can pass on the information even without the texts. That is called infographics. That is info. Some information are there and we are able to interpret by means of graphics. For example, when you put a skull, okay, with a we can immediately understand it is a danger mark. Are you able to follow? So likewise. And the talking flashcard. What do you mean by talking flashcard? So for example, I am preparing a flashcard. Along with that, I am giving some audio support also. That can be called a talking flashcard. Likewise, quiz flashcard, learning flashcard, gaming flashcard. Like gaming, you can have puzzles also. You can have word scrambling. You can have word search. You can have crossword puzzles also. You make it interesting, the learning process. Then you will not get bored. Do you understand? So this is the style you have to show. And similarly, taming flashcard, concept flashcard, word scrambling flashcard, missing letter flashcard, even fill-up flashcard, even question answer flashcard, quiz flashcard. Likewise, it goes. For example, you can have molecular formula, structural formula, terms and definitions, equations, okay, and mathematical formula, and chemical molecular structures and IUPAC nomenclatures. Likewise, we have plenty. And there are different types of flashcards, and these flashcards can also be used for food recipes also. For how to make idli, you can have a beautiful list of instructions also. So similarly, these flashcards, and the scientists, they adopt flashcard. They quote lot of references. Now you cannot talk or write any article without references. So they make use of such flashcards for what? References. Similarly, language flashcard, and this can be used for a variety of subjects also. In the case of English, you can highlight the characters, the novel characters, author, places, timeline in history, and you can have max flashcard, worksheet flashcards, then assembly of sticky flashcards, okay, then colorful flashcards, photo flashcards. You can take photos also. You can write on the board, take photo and transfer it. So likewise, you can develop, and you can have grammar flashcards, idiom flashcards, opposites, synonyms and antonyms. So irrespective of the subject, we can have beautiful flashcards. And as well as the biology or science is concerned, you should have the knowledge of prefix and suffix. For example, prefix, a set of letters which can be added at the front of any word. For example, pre means it indicates front. Post means behind. Are you able to follow? Let means small. For example, leaflet means small leaves. Are you able to follow? Cutlet, small pieces. Okay, so these are all prefixes and suffixes, and you can play around with that. And you have got a lot of, for instance, I already told you about photosynthesis. You know something about photo. Photo means light. So by knowing the prefix and suffix, it will be very easy for you to understand the meaning of the terms also. So you can effectively make use of these. So likewise, flashcards, when you talk about this, you've got different dimensions of flashcards. But normally we maintain our flashcards have the size of 4 by 6. And you've got 3 by 5 inches also. Okay, so there are different dimensions. And how to recall this, you just look at this, you should have a one-day flashcard. See, you can have all this flashcard, keep it in a box like this. So this is meant for one day old flashcard. So if the flashcard you have already written, and it is 3 days back, means you can put it here. If you have written 1 week back, means you can put it here. So likewise, you can put like this. And what you can do, in surprise, you have to take 1 week flashcard and just memorize. And you have to check yourself whether you are able to reproduce or able to follow. So for recall training, we can make use of such flashcards. Do you understand? So you can have a binding, ring binding, and spiral binding, and keep it tied with a rubber bands and keep it in small boxes like I have already given to you. So you can have different types of flashcards, and you can show your creativity also in flashcard. Instead of writing in any paper and throw it, you can keep it safe. So this is done by Kavya. She has done beautifully. Okay, this Vinayaka has drawn by Kavya, and see that she has drawn on 23rd. So till now it is preserved. Okay, so and you make use it for, and these things can be converted into video also in future. That will definitely reach the audience, and it will also be useful for you. And another, see, that is for making differences. What are the differences between mitosis and meiosis? Okay, so and it should be preserved safely. That is more important. You should not scatter it. Okay, and so likewise you can see how nicely they are done here. Okay, and you can have different colors also. Are you able to follow? And in fact, our students have done almost 75 flashcards on the Independence Day held on 2021. So see, that is, it is in your capacity you can do anything, and you can stick on some small pictures also on the flashcard. Okay, so likewise you can have different types of flashcard, and especially children, they like very much. Okay, so thank you for watching this, and these things will be available in our video also. Okay.